Well, hello YouTube, and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to discuss Black History Month with you, and I hope that you are excited to take this journey with me as I am excited to speak with you about this today and excited about hearing your comments about the subject later, no matter what your position may be. Infrequently, I receive questions regarding Black History Month from some of my white subscribers and critics. And before I go any further, please do note that I will be mainly addressing my critics in parts of my speaking with you today. So, the question revolves around my insight regarding Black History Month and also diversity. And as you already know, I've made a video in regards to this subject, diversity, but I am not happy with it and will be remaking this video at a later time. So please keep your eyes open for that. I do believe I can present you with something that is more comprehensive. However, before I can normally address these topics that are really important, I am flooded with advouchments, compendious talking points designed to persuasively support their side. It is evident there is little regard for pursuing truth, and what follows are accusations meant to eat up time while showcasing them as the century for the white man's burden. Also, what occurs is race baiting and anything that takes away from true discussion and just inflames, hopefully for them, discontent. But we're not going to go there. But in acknowledging all of this, I have to ask myself, what is a bigot's favorite action? And I have an answer. And I think that answer will be accurate, and I see it as being redundancy. Now, in their redundancy, what is to occur is dribble that circles the verbal exchange like vultures circle a carcass. Predictably, it is followed with declarations of female rights and civil rights, both erecting from cultural Marxism. They tend to be thoughtless people who cling to dogma. I figured out that they see Black History Month as a special interest, even though some of my critics would even consider the agenda as having good intentions. In reality, they fear unity will be solidified and additional organizational lobbies will surface demanding special favor. I believe they think this will cause suffering, with the focus primarily being on them, of course, thus manifesting a further divided nation. However, rarely do I receive any argument. Not even Black History Month is an archaic concept because yada yada. No, they solely attempt to make blacks appear inherently unreasonable and argumentative, as well as insistent on getting their way, declaring we are the puppets and hammer of cultural Marxism. Now, this is double talk for the removal of what they deem to be European values. They claim blacks are useful idiots, sheep for slaughter, naive people of subnormal intelligence who are exploited from the stronger ideologies, and racists. Some, no doubt, fear discussion of this topic due to dreaded resurfacing of colonialism and imperialism, both past and present. The main assertion being it is easy to construct an adherence to social usages, so long as you submit to their will and agree with all that they have to say. After all, civil discourse is merely proof of the irrational anti-white feelings which sit vaguely concealed in the hearts of many people. But moving on, there is a big movement, people, to rewrite history in America. That big state of Texas has already made alterations in regards to historical fact. And if Tennessee Tea Party members have anything to say about things, the Founding Fathers will be thought of as a pious entity, No embarrassing talk of genocide of the Native Americans or slavery. Guaranteed. This is them selecting their noesis first and absolving it later. How do I feel about Black History Month? No. You're not going to get out of it that easily. But I do want you to understand that I want to know what you think about it. So please tell me how you feel about it, please. And don't censor yourself, but just be respectful. But okay, I'll go first. It is my video after all. I have mixed feelings, and these mixed feelings may inflame some of you, but bear with me. I see valid arguments on both sides. If nothing else, Black History Month is necessary to combat the likes of the Michelle Bachmans of our world. The ones that would rather rewrite history. Yes, paint a picture of a perpetual Pleasantville. Oh, isn't that so nice? Where forced servitude, rape, and savage beatings were not the order of the day. Yeah, let's just ignore history. A perpetual Pleasantville, where all of the founding fathers were fine, upstanding people without character blemish and consistent with their actions and ideologies. Fine men who've never thought of blacks as less than human. I also see Black History Month as a declaration that black people need or prefer special treatment. Yeah, I said it. Unfortunately, I think this also, even though the color of our skin is deeply rooted with the idea of inferiority which produced generations of racial oppression. That fact within itself is enough for us to understand the importance of Black History Month. On the other hand, and I told you I had mixed feelings, Black History Month is part of American history. So instead of isolating other groups in order to focus on one, why not appropriately cover relevant historical facts of all? While we're at it, why don't we examine emotional contrasts between cultural groups? How about strictly looking at individual contributions and how they contributed to the development of the group and how the group may have fostered a better relationship with the individual or encouraged the individual, which then encouraged the group's expansion. What about that? What about group identities and the significance of that as it relates to other groups like Black Americans? Why can't we take it upon ourselves to perceive of the specialness that each group has to offer and how they feed off of each other and how they contribute to each other and how they also cause conflict for each other and find rational adult ways to teach this and encourage assertive communication in order to bring together a better idea of where we are going as a human family. And no, this is not some kumbaya moment that I'm having with you. This is discussing applications of history that sometimes we forget that we can use. Facts of Black Americans' participation in the national life of America. While we're at it, why don't we do this for the Native Americans, the Mexicans, Asians, and any other group I haven't listed? Let's not be insulting while continuing to abandon reality. Most of the time, this act of academic tokenism and this staged national pretense of welcoming scrutiny of American history is a mindless exercise, is a numbing one as well. Often we see only the employment of well-used formulas, like let's present Dr. King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Oprah, President Obama, and maybe we can throw in the likes of Langston Hughes, maybe pepper it a little bit with some Crispus Attucks, and we can toss it a little bit with some George Washington Carver. Okay, that's enough. They'll get it. Get the gist of their contribution out of the way, and we don't have to deal with it for the rest of the year. Whew. Let's not even address racial politics government's role in maintaining questionable social policies, etc. Also, as Americans, we do not have to wait for the masters, and that is not code for white people, so I'm not slamming them, but I am talking about an elite class of ruling individuals who allow certain things to trickle down to us normal folks. So we do not have to wait for them or their puppet, the media or local governments, to grant us permission to organize cultural events which contribute to the knowledge and awareness overall. Now, I would like an answer to this question. Most of the fight I witness regarding Black History Month comes from white people that desire a White History Month. So the question is why? Why does no one suggest we just stop studying white history on a year-round basis? Let that sink in. Are you marinating in that? Yes, they are the majority representation in America, but they are not the only group who contributes to this country. Surely it is not as simple as being a racial perk. I don't think so, but it looks that way. Unless you surrender to a mental binocular deception, actions, events, and ideas do not exist in a vacuum. They are woven into the fabric of our reality. This being said, I am not convinced that Black History Month helps students to find meaning in the wide expanse of the American or human history. It does provide facts, assuming the information is correct, but rarely allows for realistic representation of our contributions and our struggles within our world. I suspect all students will understand more of their reality via a different focus, a more progressive one, and no, that's not code for liberal. So stop trying to put words in my mouth. Stop it right now. Where group concentration is allowed to increase intensity on a restricted field, delivering deeper exploration, yet refuses isolation and promotes integrity of historical structure. Isolation only represents one character in the chorus of humanity. The biggest payoff to working away from archaic teaching plans is restoring the context of relationship, as well as internal and external dynamics within the relationship being examined. Hence, we are encouraged to ask more questions, demand evidence, and have lively conversations and debate. Now, Black history in the public school system is generally affected like many other subjects. Our schools are saturated via administration and policymakers with the myth that teaching, for the most part, has the purpose of preparing a child to score well on a test instead of understanding the disciplines taught as the primary objective. So I don't agree that our students understand, on average, much about common taught events like slavery. I have a really hard time believing it is mandatory to teach in depth, now listen, in depth, about the internment of Japanese Americans or Chinese railroad workers when many students do not appear to have a decent understanding of the Bill of Rights. So I am concerned about putting things in their proper place and trying to maintain a balance, okay? Also, history is not wedded to dead people, and we need to move far away from that archaic paradigm. In my opinion, we should consider expanding our perspective while being more inclusive of the history taking place today. I have to say, though, it is rather demeaning strengthening the very social system that the observance of Black History Month was intended to neutralize. Obviously, our academics have not been interested in integrating Black, Asian, Mexican, or Native American history into the mainstream educational curriculum. Oh, I get it, all right. Instead of dealing with the ugly realities or the triumph of the human spirit, and all that is in between, we have been hoodwinked to believe it is best to provide a superficial examination and just call it good. Funny thing about history, it demands to be recognized, or it appropriately labels us as the murderers of documented actuality. All for the sake, all for the price of our indifference. Thank you for your time.